Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. In today's video, we're going to be flipping through my February pages in my Hobonichi 5-year. So let's get after it. Left my little marker over here. So obviously, because it's a 5-year, we're able to see previous years. So my 5-year journal starts in 2021. So we are now in year 4. As you can see, there are blank spaces. Some years were better than others. I have tried to, as I'm going through the pages for the month, if I have a little extra margin, to maybe go back and fill in a blank if I can. Otherwise, I'm just trying to leave it alone. I'm trying to be more consistent this year and make sure that every block is filled in. I've also started printing DIY stickers. So I'm super excited to be putting those in there this year. I do talk about in the January flip through the sticker paper that I use, and of course I'll try to post a link down below as soon as I can. But I love the paper and it's worked really well for me. And you can, I think, pick options between laser and inkjet as well on their website. So February 1st is in bulk. So I've got just a little bit of blurb. This is actually from last year's in bulk. One of the things I love about a 5-year is seeing how my handwriting's changed. I think that's always really clever and fun. So I just used a little Coffee Monster Co. in bulk sticker and just wrote a little bit about the day. It was also a travel day. We left at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon to get to New Orleans. So day 2 is us actually waking up in New Orleans. That's a cute picture of Jeff and I, again, with the DIY stickers. I use Photo Room. It's a free app and you can actually remove the background. So that's perfect for creating your own stickers. And I'm super excited with some of the things I've chosen to create into stickers for March. So I look forward to doing that flip through with you guys as well. I used, these are some crepe paper stickers that I had. That's another crepe paper sticker, same. And then I used the Coffee Monster Co. Concrete Jungle 2.0 washi because it's the nighttime version and we walked around during. I was originally going to try to do like a daytime strip and talk about it and then go into nighttime, but I did want to leave a little bit of room. And just kind of journaled a little bit about what we did, which was driving around New Orleans through the day, going to brunch, and then walking in the second line for Crew of Pontchartrain. And then we walked around in the city a little bit and then got pizza after the balcony party. And so I just kind of talked to you about how absolutely beautiful it looked at night when we were like away from like Bourbon Street and the party and stuff like that. And it was just so cute and so quiet and so quaint. And I'd love to go in the off season. The next day we went to, it was raining. So we went to Gerald's for breakfast and we went to the bead store and then we went to the Den where all of the floats for the crew of Carrollton are kept, because that was the crew that Jeff, his dad, and his uncle were going to be riding in. And so you guys, I can honestly say, and I talked about this in my February planner flip video, it was the most amazing, overwhelming thing I've ever seen. And I mean, this is someone who goes to immersive theme parks. I've never seen anything like kind of out in the wild like that that's so immersive. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible to see like the hard work that goes into it. Just the spirit of these people during this time of year is absolutely incredible. And I have always found that if you ask really nicely for things, people will give them to you most of the time. So I had asked, well, I was going to purchase these stickers for Taylor and I because obviously we're sticker people, and they just gave me some stickers, which was really nice. So I put the sticker in here. And then this is a cute little Coffee Monster Co. washi sticker holding an umbrella because it was raining. We were supposed to go watch parades, but obviously, I mean, like, it was bad raining. This wasn't like a little bit of rain. It was to the point that it actually flooded the road outside of Donnie's house. And Donnie actually still drove in it to go get us barbecue, which I thought was insane. This day was the big day. So it goes like this whole blurb and then into this. And that's a cute selfie of Jeff and I. just some fun little stickers and washi. So that's all of them in costume before they put their masks on. Super cute. They had a great time. But I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is really not that far off from what I normally wake up at. And that says "Let the Good Times Roll" in French. And that's kind of, I actually tried to mimic some of my daily pages as well. So that was kind of fun to have a little bit of inspiration there. But this was a cute picture of us as we left brunch and we're heading out to second line. Again, talking about like the overwhelming, absolutely incredible, memorable experiences. I cannot stress it to you guys enough how absolutely magical it is to be like in the wild, like not be kind of like confined in a theme park setting. And I say confined loosely, but like not confined to a themed space like that. It's like for real in the wild. It was so much fun. But we did the second line, which is basically where you go through the streets with a jazz band and you throw beads. And it's so much fun. And if you're in the crew, you're doing that to all the passerbys and the people and whatever. And it was just cool to do it because we're doing it at like 8 in the morning. So literally like people are on their way to work. And, like there's like kids in car seats that we were able to like hand beads to. It was a freaking blast. Unfortunately, I got a really bad headache shortly after we got back from touring this really cool old house that they actually filmed scenes in for Interview for a Vampire, which is one of my favorite movies. So that was really fun, but I started to get a really bad headache. And it ended up being that brunch was really the only thing I ate all day long, because by the end of the night, I was like ridiculously nauseous, like to the point that smelling food was making me sick. And I'm stuck at this table with literally like platters and platters and platters of food. It was to the point no one noticed that I didn't eat. That's how much food was on the table. Like no one notices, except for Jeff. Obviously he noticed and he felt really bad. Yeah, so I did not have a super great time in the interim between really getting like the time without Jeff. I was not a happy camper. I was just not, and I'm not normally that girl, but I was definitely that girl that day. And I was ready to get back with him and like feel kind of like comforted. I was just not in the mood. The next day we went and saw parts of his family. So we went and spent time with his Uncle Lee, which was awesome. And then we went to his Aunt Amy's house and I got to meet some of his cousins and the newest addition, which is baby Lyle. And I am so mad because I got 0 pictures of hanging out at Amy's house. I was just like so engaged with what was happening and meeting these people for the first time, that I was just like, not even thinking about whipping out my phone. But Lyle was the happiest baby I've ever met in my life. We had some good food. I was starting to feel a little nauseous again. I think that was when I started to figure out I might have an issue with like citrus beverages. Yeah, so that was sad because I love mimosas and screwdrivers and tropical fruity things like that. The next day, so that was actually our last day in New Orleans for the most part, because the next morning we went to Cafe Du Monde and then traveled home. I was a raging bitch by that point, and I have no trouble saying it. I really struggled with the fact that like we went down there, and because it's like such a packed out trip, so we're going at Mardi Gras, so there's Mardi Gras happening, and then we're going to see family, which family's happening. I was really upset that I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do. So I had a really short list, like really, really short. So I wanted to go kind of like to a tarot witchy shop. I wanted to go to Cafe Du Monde and walk around in the park, which we did go to Cafe Du Monde, but we didn't walk around in the park because Jeff was ready to hit the road. His uncle came, which we didn't expect. And I like kind of thought like it was going to be a private moment for us, and it definitely wasn't. What else did I want to do? Like I said, it was a really small list. I wanted to go to Ruby's because they took the one out of Tennessee, and I didn't get to go last year when I thought I was going to get to go. And they're my favorite fried green tomatoes, so I didn't get to do that. No cemeteries. I didn't, that was like on a contingent list. Like it wasn't a hard sell. And I really think that was it, legitimately. And I didn't get to do any of it. So I was really upset because just, that was like a bummer to go all that way and not that I didn't have a great time. I had a great time and it was a very busy trip, but there was definitely opportunity where we could have done some of these things if conversations were just had and some boundaries would have been respected, but that's not how it went. So I was very cranky because we got home and then I had to cook dinner. And then I was even more mad because I very specifically wanted spaghetti and meatballs. And after you've been in a car for 9 hours, you want a very specific meal. And so I wanted spaghetti and meatballs because I did not want meat sauce. And if you understand, then you understand there is a difference. So that's really what I wanted, is just, I wanted to be able to eat spaghetti, but maybe have like one meatball on the side. Like I didn't want a bunch of meat and they didn't have it. So I had to make meat sauce. So that was like the feather in the cap of, I'm just like, I'm done. So we've got the Coffee Monster Co. Like, I think it's called City Cars washi, and just some extra stickers. This is so we came back a day early. If I have the sticker book like around me, I'll pull it out. So this is the Agenda 52 Botanical Sticker Pack. I'm going to use that a lot. I've used it in previous years on this page, but this you can pick up at Hobby Lobby, I think, still. Like I said, if I see it, I'll pull it into the mix. So Jeff and I came back a day early because we wanted to kind of have like a little bit of a grace period between actually going into work and getting home, because we both had to be in the office on Thursday. And then unfortunately we spent like literally over half the day doing stuff on his list and on his end, which meant that by the time we even got to the grocery store, for me it was 3:30, and I am a morning person. I'm not an evening person. I would have even been okay if we had like at least hit the grocery store at like 1:30, but like I was starting to tank and I needed to get home and clean a lot of stuff and cook us dinner and prepare for the fact that I was going to get Banks the next afternoon. So I really wanted to like deep clean the litter box, wash her linens, like really just make sure that that was taken care of, because I knew I wasn't going to want to do it on Thursday when we got home really late. Again, using the City Cars washi tape has come in very handy. I think the busy sticker, I don't think it came from this sticker pack. I think it came from my botanical like plant lady book that I've been using, that I've used in previous years as well. Thought maybe it would be like kind of relatively handy. It's from Agenda 52 as well, which, I mean, wash, rinse, repeat can be bought at Hobby Lobby. I don't see it, but I know it's got to be around here somewhere. But yes, it's another Agenda 52 book. And then the Get Your Ducks in a Row Coffee Monster Co., because that was like my first day back at work. Then I was going to get Banks. I also was picking up stuff for Lunar New Year. Like, it was a full day. And then the 9th, I was remote. I was actually remote. So I did a little bit of like kind of balance. Like I took a breath. That was good. And I started like unpacking a little bit more. I did my nails. I had been super obsessed with trying to paint my nails pink. Like, not a Barbie pink per se, but I ended up doing a very Barbie pink. I watched Star Wars Episode 5 while I painted them. And I treated myself to some, journal ketchup, a heart-shaped pizza because they were doing them for Valentine's, and a brownie batter donut from Dunkin'. So good. Self-care times a million. This was Lunar New Year. So this is, again, I'm able to take the background out of these photos. So these are two things that I made on Lunar New Year. I made an egg roll in a bowl with forbidden rice. The rice was good. The slaw mix was good. I hated the steak. It was so bad. I had never tried this brand before and this marinade before, and it was just so overwhelming. And normally with like egg roll in a bowl, I try to keep it really simple and just do like salt and pepper because there's so many other flavors going on. And that was terrible. Jeff loved it though, so I gave him all the leftovers of the meat and then kept a bunch of the rice and the slaw. And I don't think I had another bowl actually, because I got steak strips and never made them. I did forget the wontons, which made me really mad. So they're still in my freezer for the next egg roll in a bowl night that I do. And then I really love doing my dragon fruit bowl. So I take dragon fruit and I obviously cut the fruit out and chop it up. And then I take coconut milk and I make like steel cut oatmeal. So it's like kind of sweeter. And I do apricots and pistachios and the fruit on top. And I put it all in that bowl. So it's like a really pretty arrangement. And then we watched Shang-Chi. And then I also watched Turning Red during the day. And I think I was kind of cranky because I just, like, I didn't get to do like my egg tarts. You guys will hear me like whine and be the crankiest person. I am just, I feel like I really struggle sometimes with being balanced across the board. Like I have work stuff, I have my apartment, I have Jeff's house, we obviously have our relationship, and then I have this whole like YouTube channel and crafting thing. And sometimes all that can boil over and I just feel kind of like forgotten in the mix. Or like for me, I really love a good theme, or I really love to be able to like take a moment and appreciate the day, like Lunar New Year or Imbolc. And so when things like deter me and mess up like plans that I'm making or goals that I have that day, I tend to get a little ripped off the frame, especially if I've been like going for everybody else and I just like want this one thing. So I think that's why I like got so upset in New Orleans. Like I'm working really hard to make sure I'm going with the flow, but like, could I get like a moment, please? Like, can there be just like a side detour just for like 5 minutes for me to check something out? Or like this where it's like I'm going so fast I forget wontons and I forget that egg tarts take longer. So I think I was a little bit fussier that day. I love looking back at years past where I've done the DIY stickers. So like this is when I got my hair done, I think. Or we were at the Swanee office. And I was like all dressed up and it was Valentine's week. This was the day that I was working on the Tiana prop from the March Disney Bound Challenge in 2023. The next day was Sunday and we had a lovely day cooking. So I finally got to make the egg tarts. I was starting to get a little bit more caught up. I did a voiceover. We watched Ghostbusters. And then I came home. And normally I wouldn't come home. And I've been trying that out a little bit more this year of like going and spending the day with him, but then coming home so that I'm where all my stuff is instead of having to have like an hour commute first thing on a Monday morning and then being able to get ready and then having to go into work. Some days it works to do that, but Monday is definitely not one of them. This is Monday and I was struggling. There was a lot going on. And I'm very glad I came home the night before because there was a lot that needed to get done and just a lot of reconfiguring of the day. But luckily, I did get some happy mail. So my Q1 subscriptions arrived and I was really pumped about this because specifically these two, the City Cars and the Concrete Jungle, I knew would be so fantastic to document the New Orleans trip and upcoming like birthday things. And I love that. I love the little classical or the classic vertical. I think they're great. I always love to swatch my washies on the day that they get here or as close to it as I can, obviously, because this way, when all the washi is gone one day, at least I'll have the little snippets in a journal somewhere where they're like in their full-fledged goodness. I used the affirmation washi because obviously I had not been in a super great headspace for a few days and I felt kind of like put through the ringer because it was literally we got home and it was, you know, go get Banks, do Lunar New Year, get back to work, and get ready for Valentine's. So I just kind of had a little chat that I was just trying to have a better outlook and be more positive and optimistic. And I said I don't want to bitch about the same shit all the time and I feel stuck in a loop because it really did. So I was just like, I'm really trying. Like I was very aware that I was like in a bad mood. This is Valentine's and I actually had a remote day and I had to go to my mom's to notarize some documents for a friend of hers. And so I went and did that and treated myself to breakfast, which was really fun, and then cooked dinner for Jeff and I. I did experiment with a couple things. So I typically make like these espresso brownies, and they're really, really good. But I had the idea to put Bailey's in the glaze that goes over them, and that didn't turn out so well. I tried out some heart-shaped raviolis that had like balsamic in them to change them to red, and they were good. They were just a little bit sweeter than I envisioned. Everything was good, but it wasn't, I'm going to try all this again. I do want to play with the Bailey's espresso recipe a little bit. And then Jeff got me flowers and a gift card, which was really nice and kind of unexpected. The flowers, not so much, but the gift card, definitely. And then the next day I started working on, I love this. This is from the Wonder Shop collaboration. I think it was Wonder Shop. I think that's what it's called. And then Every Minute a Story, Little Baby Yoda, because I found a podcast to listen to. This is when I found it's now called Children of the Watch, but at the time like that they started it was called The Mandalorian Watch, so they'll say that over and over again in episodes. But I had found that podcast to go along with me doing my big Star Wars watch. If you guys are new, let me tell you guys, I consume a lot of content and I have a lot of things going on at one time to add to the crazy because I don't have enough, clearly. So right now I'm doing a Star Wars rewatch. So I started this last May the 4th, for May the 4th be with you. And that was like my new mission. So I started at the very beginning with episode 1. And I've started watching, and I'm really excited for The Acolyte to come out because I don't really know how I'm going to do this. Like, do I wait until the very end to watch it since it's a prequel? I don't know. I am in season 2 of The Mandalorian now, which is a really far way into the journey, but I'm watching shows and movies in chronological order, like how they should be ordered. So I've watched a lot at this point. And I'm really excited because I'm inching closer to finally getting to watch Ahsoka. I've been waiting because I'd already started the binge when Ahsoka got announced. So I've been like waiting to get here. So that's really exciting. I am going to have to figure out how to go back. And I think the Bad Batch final seasons now come out. So I need to like figure out where that's going to go in my mix too. So there's that. But what I've been trying to do is find podcasts that correlate with what I'm watching so that I have a little bit more to listen to in the car whenever I'm driving back and forth between Jeff's or work, or I want to get stuff done around the house and I don't want to sit and watch something where I want to be a little bit more active, or maybe I want to listen to something while I'm cooking dinner, that kind of thing. It's been really useful. But I found one to go with my Star Wars rewatch, which is really good and I can really recommend it. Again, it is called Children of the Watch. I was also working on some catch-up pages and starting March setups. Then I was remote and I did not feel good at all. I didn't feel good. Binks didn't really feel good. It was just bad. I got started and I was like kind of tidying the house and I felt okay. And then all of a sudden about 2 o'clock, I just tanked and it took everything in me to get to the end of the day so that I could just go lay down. And Jeff actually brought me some Foggy Bottom macaroni and cheese and I watched The Greatest Night in Pop. And I thought I was going to fall asleep. Did not fall asleep. I was like super tired and super nauseous. The next day I was feeling much better. Again, bringing back that Plant Lady sticker book. I'm trying to think where it would be, but I don't rightly know. I'm going to take like a second quick spin. I legit don't know where it's run off to. It's probably in this like giant stack of planner stickers at my side, and I'm just like worried it'll avalanche if I try to go through it. The Homebody is where these stickers are from. Again, I am really trying to pull out like all of my sticker books recently and like use them to my advantage. but this is the plant lady, botanical lady, whatever it is. I went to Target in the morning because I needed to pick up a couple things, and I ended up getting a ton of seeds. I don't know what I was thinking, because I have a tiny patio that I can make all this happen on, but I had these big dreams. And then I got home and I was feeling really great, because again, I was actually feeling much better than I had in a few days, and I was actually getting the house tidy. And you guys, I'm washing dishes and I'm watching Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So that's already like a weird visual. But I'm sitting there watching, and Banks is running through the house like a loon. And I thought it was really funny because it was like the opening scenes where, if you've ever watched the movie, then you know, but it's like the car is going through its old races. And I was like, that's funny. She's a race car kitten during the opening scenes while we're watching race cars. And she kept doing it, and it was really weird because she'll get the zoomies, but never that long. And all of a sudden, I noticed she's got like a streak down her back. You guys, she had diarrhea and was running around the apartment. I was losing it. Thankfully, she did not. She was kind of running in the same loop, and it was fine. It was a lot to clean up, and she was more terrified than I was. But I got it taken care of. But it was a big, big mess. And I did some research, and I was pretty sure it was from papaya that my mother had given her. So the next day, feeling a little bit better, cautiously optimistic, everything's going fine. I'm watching her like a hawk. Nothing happens all day. I was in such a good headspace. Like, it was one of those days where, like, it was super well-rounded. Like, even with the cat sick, I was fine. I had gotten some housework done. I had gotten a lot of content done. I had worked out. I was feeling like on top of the world. I was doing super great. Then, oh my Lord, Jeff and I get in the bed. It's 10 o'clock at night. And Jeff had actually special requested for me to make lasagna because he had passed the NRA instructor course that he was in, and we were super excited. And so he comes over and we eat dinner and we have some dessert. And we sit in we literally sat down in the bed to eat dessert. And Binks darts into the bedroom and she jumps up in her cat tower. Okay, that cat never does that. And Jeff and I looked at each other with like a what the heck, and immediately she darts back out, comes back, and at that point, like, we knew something's wrong and we couldn't even stop it. It was like everything went in slow-mo and Binks was in hyper, and she, you know, did the zoomy thing again, unfortunately had diarrhea, and it was much more spread out than the first time. Thank God Jeff was here and able to help me because I was about to lose it. I was about to cry. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm tired. I've had a great day, and now like all this is happening. And he was so patient, and he was so kind, and he was so helpful. And then it sucked because I had to lock her in the bathroom at that point because I really didn't want her to mess anything up further. We're scrambling for blankets because this is February, so it's going to be cold. It was a whole thing. So I put her in the bathroom, and then at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I could kind of hear the scuttle in the bathroom the same way, and I knew what had happened. And I opened the door, and sure enough, like, she had, you know, had another moment in there, and thankfully this time it was much more quarantined and easier to clean up. So I cleaned that up and then scheduled her a vet appointment and took her to the vet. They were so nice and they were so kind. We figured out it was most likely a digestive issue, got her some medicine. And this just starts a series, and oh my gosh, if you guys have already seen the planner flip through, then a lot of this is redundant, but literally this was like the story of the week, was where are we at with the Banks situation. So she went to the vet, everybody was super helpful, and thankfully the 19th was actually President's Day, so I was able to like not have to take off work or anything and just get her there, and they weren't closed, so that was really great. The next day I opted to stay home and work remote with her because we didn't need to go. I didn't need to be in the office. You can tell these are like older stickers because if you look, the backgrounds are still in them. This is before I learned about photo room. But I stayed home with her, and that way I was able to kind of like go in and sit with her periodically. But the vet had basically told me like it was going to take like 2 days to kind of offset and go the other direction. And so I really didn't want her to make a mess. Like if she had used the bathroom and I would have been able to gauge it, then I probably would have been able to let her out. But I was like, I had her in there with like all her blankets, some of her toys. Like I just tried to make her as comfortable as possible, but she's not comfortable unless she can be wherever she wants to be in the house. If you're a cat mom, then you know she does not like to be locked away, and let alone from me. So basically at night she would just whine, because even if she would like go to sleep, she'd wake up and she'd realize, okay, I'm in the bathroom and my mom's not in here. And so it was a really rough couple nights. I got up at 3 o'clock because I didn't want Jeff to be woken up by her, which was really rough. And then I even came home and checked on her during lunch. But this is now where we start to like shift from one problem to another. So we went from the diarrhea situation to nothing coming out of her other than like she was peeing in the box, but nothing else was happening. And I was like, great. Now we're going the opposite way. And obviously I was struggling to get the medicines in her. There was one that I finally did get in her. I got like, I think 3 doses, and she needed to take it like twice a day. So I got 3 doses in her of one of the 2 medications. So it was better than nothing. But now I was like, hold on, pump brakes. I don't want to keep giving her medicine to bind her up if she won't go. So until she goes, I don't know what to do. And I didn't want to like make the situation worse. So I stopped that. And then at this point, I was so thrilled that I slept, guys, all the way until my 5 o'clock alarm went off, which just felt blissful after like multiple mornings of 4:30, 3 a.m., not sleeping, mewing through the night. I was so thrilled. I started a list for the Coffee Monster sale that was happening the following week, and then also had a solid afternoon. I got an hour on the elliptical, read 2 chapters of my book. That's my new thing that I've been obsessed with this year. I started at the end of last year when I kind of like blew out my hip a little bit, which is funny because now that I'm doing more strength training and like squats and things like that, my hip strength is building up a good bit. And I think I'm going to be able to go back to running a little bit more than I used to, which is great. Cause I have a giant backlog of videos because I used to watch videos while I ran. And then I started reading when I switched to the elliptical and the stationary bike. So yeah, more problems, all kinds of weird stuff. But it turned out to be margarita day, and my apartment was doing margaritas, which was really fun. And then I actually had leftovers from lunch. April and I had ordered from a new restaurant that had just opened that did deep dish pizza, and it was so good. So I ate like 1 piece at the office and then brought the rest home to have with my margaritas and finished the final season of The Crown. So that was that day. Binks finally Binks pooped. She did on the bath mat, which was fine. I can wash the bath mat. I have washed that bath mat 40 million times at this point because of what was happening. So she started pooping on the bath mat, and this went on for probably like 2 weeks. And like, I still hadn't got her back to her rhythm. I ended up having to like up her Miralax. So literally we went from one extreme to the other. And thankfully, like I knew what to do with the other because that's what I had, gone through years ago with her. But I was still so relieved. Like I literally felt like someone had taken like a massive weight off my shoulders. Like the cat has pooped and she is fine. It's not diarrhea. It's okay. Take a breath. So comforted. But I also felt exhausted. Like I had just like given birth to something or whatever. Like, oh my God, I was so tired and just felt so exhausted. So I really just kind of did the bare minimum after that point. I canceled the vet appointment because we had made her one just in case she didn't go to the bathroom, and we were going to need to look into that and get her cleared out. I started working on some Project Life prep and just tanked and just slept at that point. I think we went to bed really early. On the next day, Jeff actually finished up what he was working on a little bit earlier and went to the butcher shop and got us some really pretty porterhouse steaks. And then he had asked if I would make cheesy potatoes. And so I did. And so we had a really nice, like, big plated meal and got to spend more of the day together than we thought. He had just finished up with some family stuff that he had budgeted more time for, so that was really fun. I also watched Desolation of Smaug because I had finished the reading pages. So another thing that I am doing, so I said the whole Star Wars thing, so another thing I'm doing is I'm rereading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and watching the movies simultaneously with them. So like I'll read so for example, I read Fellowship of the Ring and then I watched the movie. Right now I'm reading Two Towers. I did this with Hobbit as well, but I like broke it down between like these chapters are for Unexpected Journey. These pages are for Desolation of Smaug. These pages are for Battle of the Five Armies. So I had already done all that and like finished that out, which was really fun. And now I'm into Lord of the Rings side of things. So those are two things. My friend and coworker Jen and I are also watching Succession. So tons of stuff going on. So if you have fun recommendations for me, drop them down below. I basically cannot do anything new until like June though, if it's reading related. These are stickers from Smooth Shop. That's from an older Happy Planner book. I think Farmhouse. This is from that book. I just realized I kind of didn't call it some. These are just like old ones from a calendar I had. If there's a sticker that I missed or a washi and you want to know what it is, just drop it down below in the comments and I'll answer you. This is from that little sticker book again. This one, the botanical. I used that a lot. This is from Joyful Oasis. I've put like a decent little dent in this one. What I like about some of the newer Agenda 52 books is that they have like 2 pages for every design. So it's like, what I mean is like you're gonna get 2 pages that are like this. So it's cool. Like you don't feel like that's the only sticker, you know, you've got to hoard the sticker. And I put books are my happy place because I finished the final Hobbit film that day. And that completed my reread and rewatch. And I just kind of talked a little bit about how it was like super fulfilling and nostalgic to be able to do this. And I retracted my unkind opinions from years ago. And it actually made me a little bit sadder that they didn't separate out Lord of the Rings a little bit more. Like each movie really should have been at least 2 parts because a lot of details get missed that I think would have been fun. This is me going on a rant about all the things that I just said, like, oh, I'm watching this, I'm in this rewatch, I'm in this binge, like too many one time. And I really felt like I was in like a funky spot as I was catching up on Children of the Watch podcast episodes. Jen and I needed to pick a show. Season 1 of The Mandalorian was done for me. I wasn't watching anything. It was just, I really have not watched, I really don't, like right now, Jeff and I have a couple shows that we're watching too. We're watching 3 Body Problem, the Turning Point that's about the Cold War and the bomb. And I feel like there's something else we're watching. We did just finish Quiet on the Set or on Set. There might be something else that I'm forgetting. But yeah, I was just kind of going on like a miniature rant of like, oh my God, everything's in flux and in a really weird place. I've got to get my arms around it. I just felt like all over the place. And I was really just like hoping for some planner time and just a break, I think. And I started trying to print stickers for January and February spreads. This day I had an amazing workout. I actually redid a workout from the Friday before, but I finished it completely. And originally when I went in to do the workout, I was like only hoping to do like the last section I didn't get to do. And then a little bit of the section before that I had like cut in half a little bit. Sorry, I'm looking back at stickers now. That's from the Joyful Oasis. That's from the Fitness Washi this is just a random sticker. This is from a Coffee Monster Co. printable set that I did that's still available with her. But I had a really great workout. I was really proud. And then Jen and I started Succession. It was super uncomfortable to watch. We're now in season 3, and it is such a good show, but it is definitely not something that's going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. Like, it's very uncomfortable to watch. It's gonna hit a lot of nerves, but it is funny at the same time. You can't help but like feel very strongly, like, as you watch it. Like, it's a lot to digest. And then Jeff and I went to bingo night at Fratelli's and ate dinner. This is leap day. So I left this side blank because, to be quite honest, I can't fill that much space. And I think it's great that I have an extra page if I ever need it for anything. And I know there's some random page. I think you get like an extra page in the back. But to me, it seemed better to just leave it than really try to get any more granular than I already did. But Binks pooped on the rug again because, like I said, we went through a phase. Fun fact I did not know, cat moms out there may know, but basically if your cat has like bathroom issues, that sometimes that will cause them to do, like, for example, her poop was painful, so she wasn't doing it in the box because she was associating it with the box because it went from diarrhea to constipation. And so she was trying to go somewhere that she wasn't associating with pain. Finally got her back on track. She is successfully using the restroom where she needs to be at this point, which is great. And then I matched my washi to my outfit. So I literally had a skirt that looked super floral and in the same colors. I was really procrastinating continuing education and working on my mom's and my stepdad's estate documents. I found a podcast to go with Succession, obviously. I put my workout down and what I read, and then that I fixed the printer, or the printer fixed itself, so I was able to do the stickers. And that's it for February. So I hope that this was inspiring. Again, if I forgot a sticker, let me know. If there's some washi that you want to know about that I didn't call out. This is like an older one, I think, from Joann's, like a million years ago. I have so much washi in my stash, it's absurd. This is from a recollection sticker book. The animal's just a hot buy, random one. I have really been trying to bring more of my supplies into my craft, one, so I don't blow through Coffee Monster stickers so fast, but also because I have so many great stickers, and it just seems wrong to hide them all away, and I really want to use them. So trying to use my stash a little bit more. But I hope you found some inspiration. Again, if I missed something and you want to know what it is, let me know. And if you have any suggestions for reading or watching combos, let me know. There's some that are already on my list for sure, and I'll definitely make sure to note it if it is. But yeah, you guys let me know. And until then, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye, everybody.